Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Friday, May 6th. Breaking news today, the SBA has announced and confirmed that at the moment there is no additional EIDL funding available. That's huge news. A long time coming. We didn't know when exactly it was going to happen. It doesn't exclude the possibility that more people may still be approved for increases. I want to talk about that. Very important detail. Plus this message right here on the SBA portal, what it means for all of you who've still been waiting for more EIDL funding. Most importantly, I want to reshift and talk about two other SBA programs that actually may be better than the EIDL program. I want to give you a heads up there before the other programs become overcrowded and oversubscribed. You can get a head start. I'll put them in context with the EIDL program so you can decide for yourself, hey, do you want low interest, long-term funding, especially given the economy, given rising interest rates? Do you want to go after more funding now or not? Huge thank you to everyone for tuning in, liking this video so others see it, and as always, for subscribing. Of course, two reasons to subscribe. We donate our YouTube revenue back to subscribers. We're picking $1,000 grant winners in 10 days. The third Wednesday of every month, we pick $1,000 winners. Last month, we upped it to $5,000 winners. We cover our grants, we cover other grants, any grant opportunities out there that we think are worthwhile, we're gonna cover. And to all of you who've subscribed, who've been watching me cover EIDL funding for over 2 years, here's one of the very first videos where I talked about the EIDL program. You know, collectively, our team has helped reach 250,000 businesses through our videos here, and we've directly helped around 15,000 small businesses or individuals, solopreneurs, get funding from $10K to $2 million and everything in between. We're so thankful you tuned in, you shared some of these posts, you stayed up to date, and EIDL was just chapter 1. We're just beginning. There are so many other amazing programs, whatever your goals are for your business or your side hustle. Okay, here's what I'm gonna pull up in a minute, comparisons between the EIDL program, why microloan 7A504 may actually be better, things to keep in mind, who's eligible for these other pots of money, and actionable step-by-step items, how to apply. I'm not gonna cover all of that in detail today, but I'll leave you with a few takeaways. So first, yesterday, the big news, we heard from several sources at the SBA. They weren't approving any new funding. While there was no official press release yet, there was soon a modal up on the SBA portal that says this. I'm gonna read it to you. Point number 1, COVID EIDL funds have been exhausted. Point number 2, this COVID EIDL portal will close on May 16th, 2022. Download your loan documents now. And the third point, perhaps most relevant if you are still waiting, respond to SBA requests for signature and documents by May 16th. That's 10 days from now. The failure to sign and submit documents prior to funds being exhausted, rescinded, will result in no increase. Okay, I want to talk about why that's important for all of you who might still be waiting. But back to point number 1, basically it's this. There is no funding that is available that hasn't been earmarked for someone else. So when loan officers have been hustling around the clock 7 days a week to approve folks, and today was the last day, by the way, to approve, so they only missed things by a day. Probably yesterday, they looked at the numbers and they said, hold on, we've approved more than our allotment, or we've just reached it. Now we have to pause. We can't approve any others. We are in a holding pattern, okay? So now there's 10 days basically for two things. One, for everyone who's been approved to sign loan documents and for the SBA to wire out money. If you don't sign those documents, that money will go back to the SBA EIDL pot of money. One example, 3 weeks ago, an SBA loan officer told me that they had about $4 or $5 billion put back into the EIDL pot of money because of unclaimed funding. So in my opinion, it's probable money will get back into the pot of money. Now, I don't exactly know. SBA loan officers already overbooked, just like airlines overbook flights, and they assume there will be a certain number of no-shows. I don't know if the SBA strictly stopped approving right when they reached the full amount, or if they overbooked a little bit, and they're hoping some percentage of folks don't sign those loan documents. The point is, there's still hope if you didn't make it to the finish line with an approval. I wouldn't bank on it. And the last point I want to make, this portal here that has your loan documents, you need to download to store securely because they're going to phase out this portal. If you want, you can store this information on your Skip dashboard. By the way, we have a brand new look on our Skip dashboard, a nice refresh, more features coming there. Of course, you can always create a free account when you go to helloskip.com/join. But more importantly, if you want support from our team of experts, you can choose the VIP option as well. But if you want to drop in SBA and EIDL funding documents here to also store, you can do that here. You can do that under your dashboard as well. Enter our $1,000 grant giveaways. But here's what I want to emphasize. EIDL not active at the moment. Microloans up to $50,000. I did a YouTube live 2 days ago. Several hundred of you joined that live. We talked about microloans, things to keep in mind. We are doing an in-depth step-by-step guide, how to find lenders, how to apply, fill out the forms, what to expect, what forms aren't necessary, basically what things can you skip, since Skip is our name. We're gonna continually talk about that. So if you're a business owner, a startup, existing business, that could use a microloan up to 50K. Be sure you're subscribed here, or you can proactively book a time to talk with us, SBAVIP.com. And the one caveat here is that I'm just talking about other SBA options, other public options. There are countless private options out there that still have fairly decent interest rates. Interest rates have gone up at the federal level, so we do expect interest rates to rise across the board for borrowing in the coming days and weeks. So now's a good time to at least look at some of these options. SBA 7A is up to $5 million. SBA 504 also up to $5 million. Actually, let me pull up a detailed chart here. Within the SBA 7A program, there's 3 types. The standard, which is up to $5 million, the SBA 7A small, which is up to $350K, and the SBA 7A express, up to $500K. And that can be approved in as little as 36 hours from the SBA. SBA 7A, wide eligibility, but the use of funds, long and short-term working capital, revolving funds based on existing inventory, purchase of equipment, machinery, supplies, real estate, including land and buildings, construction of new buildings, establishing or starting a new business or acquiring a business, or refinancing existing business debt. So it's pretty broad. In fact, I can't think of things that aren't included there. SBA 504 specifically to help purchase real estate, property, or long-term machinery, and microloans here up to 50K, working capital, inventory or supplies, furniture or fixtures, machinery or equipment. Now, each of these have lenders that do these well. Some lenders are better than others, and we will be sharing some of those lender names in an upcoming video. I want to point this out to the average size. So there's the maximum size and there's the average size. What happens in reality? The microloan average is $15,000. EIDL average ended up being around $80,000 per recipient. SBA 7A loan, average there, $400K. Of course, it depends on what type of 7A you're talking about. That may fit the funding gap that you currently have. I don't know what your funding gap is in particular, but chances are good the 7A can help fill that gap before you have to go look at private options. We have a lot of our private partners in the description here. You can also look at those. They have fairly competitive interest rates. Finally, the approval time. Since so many of you have expressed frustration about the EIDL program, you were stuck for months, even years, some of you complaining you've been waiting for 2 years and you were never successful getting EIDL. Certainly feel for you. A lot of these other SBA programs, since they use SBA approved lenders, private lenders, can go faster. SBA 7A Express can take as little as 2 days, 7A regular and small 5 to 10 days. The long of the short is, just because this news has happened, there's plenty of capital financing out there, whatever type of help you need to grow your business. And I just want to say thank you again for everyone who's been following EIDL. I know many of you since day one. If you appreciate our coverage of EIDL, the help you've gotten, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. Our entire team appreciates it. We're already off to the races helping people with 7A, with 504, and with microloans. So before these programs really blow up, consider booking a time to talk with us about it. We have spots available next week. Most importantly, hope you have a great weekend ahead. Stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.